Welcome everyone, Rob here, and today we're going to be talking about how to play the most busted class in the game, the Driver class. We're going to talk about his powers, what his synergies are, and we'll also show examples of gameplay on how to use him and just kind of how dirty and overpowered he is. He is a ridiculous class that has numerous strengths, very few weaknesses, which I aim to highlight today. Almost all of his powers are 2 to 3 different powers wrapped up into a single slot. He 100% is going to be getting a nerf at some point in time in the future, as most of the players on the leaderboard only play Driver. I'll have timestamps in the description, so if you just want to see a specific part of the video, you can do that in the description below. As always, if you enjoy this content, hit that like button, and if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button as well. Let's get started. First, let's go over his red powers. These are all passive and fairly easy to explain. Like all other classes, he will have a red power that boosts a specific weapon type. You can see on my screen I have the AKM. He will also have the high speed smart bullet, which will provide effectively an aim assist. So if bullets are slightly off target, they will curve into the enemy, and also, of course, a 20% damage buff because why not? The Driver also has the mounted combat power, meaning he'll be firing 50% more accurately and for 10% more damage when shooting from a vehicle. This, of course, will stack with his home ground vehicle powers. With that said, let's move on to his green powers and discuss the power-up I just mentioned, home ground vehicles. This power-up will give you plus 10% damage and defense when in and around vehicles. His defense will further be boosted by the bulletproof glass power-up, providing plus 40 maximum HP and plus 20 defense, not only to the Driver but to all soldiers, meaning your allies, when inside of the vehicle. If you think he is strong so far, just wait until you hear about this one. His explosion resistance power-up will reduce all damage from vehicle collisions and explosions. That is minus 100% damage, meaning when his vehicle hits something or if a vehicle blows up, he is not hurt. He also will take 50% of the damage from tactical nukes, grenades, advanced grenades, RPGs, C4, and airstrikes. So not only does this synergize with his own kit, so he can now blow up vehicles and get in crashes and hit other vehicles to damage other people while not receiving damages himself, but he also directly counters pretty much every overpowered thing that other classes have in the game. The tactical nukes will significantly counter the nuclear class because he'll only take 50% damage from that. Same with RPGs. The C4, he'll counter the Marine class because that will only deal 50% damage. And airstrikes are from the Sniper class. He will now only take 50% of damage from that. So this class now has defense that effectively takes away many of the most overpowered things in this game that other classes can do. But we're not done yet, because he still has his blue power-ups, and this is where his fun, utility, and functionality come in. His Nitro ability will allow him to do a Nitro jump and boost more effectively when riding in a vehicle. But of course, because all of his power-ups are secretly 2 or 3 different abilities packaged conveniently into one power-up, he gets a second piece to this, which will allow him to detonate the vehicle after leaving, effectively serving as a car bomb that you can blow up your enemies with prior to jumping out and shooting at them. It's important to note that because of your explosion resistance power-up, you will not actually take damage from this. So it is a free explosion that you can put right next to you that you will not take damage from. His Smart Key ability will allow him to summon a vehicle to him at almost any time. So essentially he will always have a vehicle for cover that he can just summon next to him, or for an instant extreme mobility, allowing him to have cover or to escape in any situation where he should need it. It will also grant him the ability to do a dodge roll from vehicles, and he will gain plus 20 HP for 5 seconds after leaving a vehicle. It's important to note that this only has a 1 second cooldown, so in theory, you could tactically spam this and repeatedly jump in and out of cars to gain bonus HP throughout combat and significantly increase your maximum HP. And his final power-up, the Smart Detector, which I have renamed the Fun Detector. This will allow him to detect nearby vehicles and any enemies who have used capsules, crafted items, used super jump, or teleported. So again, the theme of him being not only incredibly strong, but also having hard counters to pretty much every other class's special ability. He can then detect those classes with the super jumps, the teleports, make them a little bit less effective at catching a person off guard and quickly killing them. Very, very strong utility. So to provide a quick recap, the driver basically has access to a car at pretty much any point in time in the game where they want it, for cover and for mobility. They have passive aim correction that includes bonus damage passively, strong bonuses when in and near the vehicles, which he again can summon at any time, significant protection from explosions and all of the most powerful ultimates and class abilities, the ability to car bomb enemies without any true consequences. He can jump in and out of vehicles mid-combat for bonuses, and the ability to detect enemies consistently throughout the game. So hopefully by this point, we're all on the same page of why this class is outrageously overpowered and needs a nerf, because I haven't even told you his ultimate. His ultimate is the Monster Truck, a vehicle which he can then consistently summon for the rest of the game, which provides massive amounts of defense and protection while also providing strong mobility. You can basically roll up on enemies with this thing, jump them, and even detonate it for explosion damage if you wish, and frequently you'll just immediately kill them before they can react and hurt you. It rounds out an already just completely egregious kit, and this is basically 20 power-ups wrapped into 9 power-up slots. It's absurd. It's worth noting that this has a cooldown of 2 minutes, which might seem long, except for the fact that the moment you summon the monster truck, the cooldown starts ticking, which means that you will have your monster truck back frequently before you've even lost or abandoned your current one. So you really never run out of it because the cooldown's always going. It's just absurd. Up next, I'm going to show you some gameplay just to emphasize how dumb this class is. Let's do it. First up, naturally, I completely whiff on my landing, and so does my teammate, and we are surrounded by enemies, so they're going to get guns and obviously take us out before we can do anything. Except no, we're playing the driver class, so we have literally no responsibility or consequences for our actions whatsoever, and we just immediately summon cars, drive away, and eventually find guns instead of dying immediately and being sent back to the lobby. Here you will notice that we are just casually driving through the open. Now, if you've played Super People, you know that as any other class, this will get you killed. But we're playing the driver class, so again, we can just drive in the open and we're not really under any threat. You'll also notice that my ultimate is recharging, even though I am currently in a monster truck. This allows me to have effectively a spammable 100% uptime ultimate. Here you'll see driving in the open, getting shot at by enemies. He's unleashed about 2 clips on me at this point, and I have not taken any damage yet. He finally does hit me. Doesn't really matter, because I'm just going to drive up to him, detonate my vehicle to a significant amount of damage to him right off the rip, and then just shoot him down to finish him off before I eventually die. So I finally got punished for standing in the complete open because I detonated my car. You'll see though, I'm behind an exploded carcass of a car, so I can just safely be brought up and then I can heal, and I have natural cover from a car that cannot be exploded or destroyed, and I just heal myself and get ready for the next fight. Here you'll see probably the most ridiculous example of the driver, because we have a 2 drivers versus a driver and a nuclear. Now, we're all fighting, running around in cars and stuff. You will have, at one point in this video, see, I believe, an RPG fired, but it misses, of course, because we're in cars. And even if we weren't in cars, I mean, we still have explosion resistance, so it would not have hurt us much anyway. I ram his car and explode it. Out of the 4 of us, the only person that actually takes damage from that explosion is the nuclear class. The other 3 of us take 0 damage because we have 100% explosion damage from vehicles. So we end up winning the fight because one of the 4 of us was not playing the driver class. And finally, all in the same game, by the way, another ridiculous clip, getting shot at in a bad spot because I'm out of zone. So what do? Just run my car up, explode it on him, do significant damage to him. I don't feel comfortable peeking him at this point, so we just kind of get into stalemate. And in, of course, the most appropriate fashion ever, as I'm getting low, my teammate comes in, detonates his car, gets the free kill. It's insane. Look, if nothing that you just saw convinces you how just busted, overpowered, dumb, and meme-worthy this class is, then I don't know what to tell you at this point. That's what we're looking at. It does everything well. Everything is its strength. I can't actually think of a weakness that this class has, other than it makes you play so bold and overconfident that you will frequently get yourself killed just thinking you're invincible. That's literally the only negative that I could think of. It's an insane class. Anyway, hope you guys like this. Hope you guys learned something. If you did, hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button too. We'll see you next time.